These are some items that you'll want to have when you start to make your kite. You'll want to have all of this set up at a nice flat table space before you get started. So you're going to need a 12-inch by 12-inch square. This material is Tyvek, and this is what the sail of your kite will be made out of, and it'll be a diamond. And you'll need 4 streamers, which are very long, so maybe keep them wound until the very end. And then you'll also have a kite handle, and you'll have 2 pieces of bamboo. One of them is longer than the other one. You also want to have a ruler to measure some things and make sure your kite's symmetrical as you go along. And you'll also want to have a glue stick, very helpful. If you don't have glue stick, I'm also including these sticky labels, so you can kind of tear those and use them as tape if you don't have tape, but I'll show you how to use them to reinforce holes in an optimal setting where you have all of these materials. You also might want to have some scissors handy. I think all of the pieces are pre-cut for you, but in case, it's good to have those. So that should be your setup for the kite. Okay, so now we've got our design on our kite. I'm choosing to work with my funky hand design, and the next step is going to be putting your kite together. So this is the front of the kite. So the first thing I do is flip over the kite and I mark the top. I just write TOP just so that I know where the top of my kite is supposed to be while I'm working on it. The next step is going to be to mark off some dots on the side so you know where to fold your kite over the horizontal spar. So you're going to measure from this corner right here to 2 inches. And then you're going to measure from this corner to the left corner so that you have 5 inches. You're going to fold that off, so you can even just, if you have a ruler, line up those 2 dots and fold over a ruler. Or draw a line, actually. I want to be able to see this later. And fold it just to make sure it folds well. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So 2 inches and 5 inches. Draw a line between those points. Oops. And fold it. Cool. That's step 1. You're also going to want to hold your kite top to bottom to see exactly where the center is. That's where you're going to lay your center spar, the shorter stick that you have in your packet. And then the bottom line, I'm just going to fold later up over that spar. So here's our next step. We're going to take, of the 2 pieces of bamboo, you got the longer one and the shorter one. You're going to use the shorter one for this. You're going to, if you have a glue stick, apply that glue stick to the whole length of the shorter piece of bamboo. Give it a good coat. And then you're going to stick it down. Doesn't really matter which side, but I usually put the glue on the side of the bamboo that's kind of rougher and leave the prettier side showing. I actually got this bamboo from a floor mat, so it's recycled bamboo. Now that that is stuck down securely, and note that I started the bamboo at the very top of the kite and only stuck it down this far. So your next step would actually be to secure it further by putting glue on this bottom corner. And then folding that up and over the bamboo, like so. and stick it down firmly so that it conforms to the bamboo and is nice and flat and symmetrical. And that should dry nicely. Now your next step is a little bit tricky. If you have a partner, that can be helpful. We'll see how this goes working by myself. Bamboo is very flexible, you can see that, so be careful you don't accidentally flick somebody, you know, because it's a little bit dangerous. But usually when I'm working alone, plenty of space here, I start out by kind of eyeballing it. So I might do like a dry fit, and the goal is to get these two ends of your bamboo lined up with the edge of the kite so that it arcs inside of these folds, just like this, if you can see. So that's what you want, and then you want to be able to fold these over. Now, obviously the bamboo is, you know, ready to flip right out of your hands while you're doing that. So I usually do one side at a time. First step is putting glue on one side here. And the glue has a little bit of play in it. It doesn't dry immediately. And I just kind of line up along the curve there, and I lightly attach it like that. And then I get my other side ready. Plenty of glue. And you want to work fast. So that side's ready. I'll continue to hold this corner with this hand, arc it and line it up. And now I just kind of let the glue hold it in place, keeping this secured and held down with one hand, which leaves this hand free. So I can kind of position it exactly where I want it and fold it over. Snuggle that Tyvek right against the bamboo and make sure the Tyvek gets pressed down. Now I'm going to pay attention to this side. Finish up over here. So I'm going to make that conform. And the idea is to have these roughly the same, because you just want your kite to be symmetrical. You want the arc to be symmetrical. The bamboo is going to be imperfect. It's an organic thing. It has little nodes in it, so it won't bend perfectly, but it will bend close to perfect because this bamboo has been, you know, processed by a machine for making floor mats. So it's a very nice thin cut bamboo. So that is pretty much looking great to me. I feel like double checking to make sure this is perfectly sticking is good, but over time the glue stick will dry and that'll be a good bond. You can already see it's bonded there. So now another exciting part. I gave you these labels. They're just like Avery shipping labels, but they're a little bit stiff, so they're really good for reinforcing things. So one use is to place a label sort of at the tippy top here. I'm going to try lining it up like this so that if you can see, the bottom of the label is actually going just a little bit under this bamboo. My goal is to have it centered over this vertical piece of bamboo, going a little bit over the tip so that when I flip it over it looks like this, and that's going to allow me to fold these over the top like this to kind of reinforce the tip of my kite and also hold that bamboo down. Get it as neat as you can. It's a handmade thing, so it's not going to be perfect, but that's where I'm going to put that label. And now for the next one, I would advise putting it over the curving bamboo. And this one's a little trickier because the bamboo is curved and the label is paper. So you're just going to want to like basically turn your hands into little pinching claws and pinch over the bamboo. And then press down, and it's gonna get a little bit wrinkled, but basically the idea is to just secure that arcing bamboo with that piece of label. So there you go. And then the last label gets placed at the bottom. On your diagram, this is where you're gonna end up putting bridle holes eventually. So I'm gonna put it right about here. Just so basically it's like overlapping this last, overlapping the tip of that fold and reinforcing things. So there we go.